certificates to hand out to some of the students who've been with us all week. I'm Robert Wallace, the principal of the College of Piping. The college is the oldest establishment for the teaching of Scotland's national instrument in the world. Firstly, with level 1, it's Conor Jardine, Mandy McCombie, Thomas Kirk, Jamie Heppenstall, Gis Martins, Václav Roberts. It is really an international centre for the bagpipe. It's not a parochial, even a national thing. It's international. And people come here when they can from all over the world. In the Czech language, a straka is a magpie. We actually operate as a charity, and we rely on the goodwill that the college gets throughout the world to keep us going.
On the last part again, 1, 2. My name's Barry Donaldson. I'm an instructor at the College of Piping. And previous to that, I was a member of Strathclyde Police and indeed a member of the Strathclyde Police Pipe Band. I was involved when they won the World Pipe Band Championships, I think either 11 or 12 times. In addition to that, I had a successful solo career, won most of the major top prizes in Scotland. Following my career retirement with the police, I joined the band that I currently play with, which is the House of Edgar Shotts and Dyke Head Pipe Band, which is arguably the best band in Scotland and certainly one of the greatest bands in the world. And hopefully tomorrow, the World Pipe Band Championships, the band will be successful and pick up the top title.
The COP band is a training and development band. Barry Donaldson came to me with the idea and I thought it was a great idea. We have many students, adult learners in particular, who are never going to be good players. They will never ever get to play at the World Pipe Band Championships in any way, shape or form. Never. But they will if they're in our band.
Tomorrow, the band will be appearing for the first time at the World Pipe Band Championships in Grade 4B, with musicians from Germany, Switzerland, Holland, I believe there's some French, certainly loads of Scots, some English, and players from the Outer Hebrides as well. We might have one of the biggest bands on parade tomorrow because we've got so many students abroad who are coming to play in the band. So it's, we don't turn anybody away. If you're a college student or a member of the college, you can come and play in the band. And we train drummers too here. Some of the purists would say the College of Piping shouldn't train drummers, but I don't accept that because the vast majority of pipers learn in pipe bands, and the pipe bands are pipes and drums.
I'm Bill Marshall. I've been in the band since around about February, just after the band was formed. The unfortunate part about the band has always been a shortage of drummers. We have one drummer at the present time, that is Billy, and Billy is going to play as leading tip, that is the leading drummer.
I was just from a marching band, right, just a gala day band and enjoying being one of the drum corps. Barry asked me to help out with this band because the previous leading drummer had left.
In order to take part in the competition, we need 2 side drummers, 1 bass drummer, who is Jeff, and Barry got Jeff. He's coming through from Edinburgh, I believe. Susie Klinger, our European representative, has 4 drummers from Germany, who I am hoping will come. Now, just in case they don't come, I have managed to get another drummer, Ian, to come along almost at the last minute. So that will give us more than the minimum requirements.
My name's Tuine Elliott. I'm from Germany. I live near Osnabrück. My father's British and my mother's German. And actually I grew up in Germany, but I was in an English school. And I started to learn to play the pipes in 2002. I'm a bit nervous, but I think that's normal, and I'll have to go through it. We'll see tomorrow how it goes. Just enjoy it, have fun.
By the right. Quick march. Listen for the double tone. Now, if you hear the double tone, just stop and start again. And if it's still there, it's not yours.
If you're a learner, and for the last 3 or 4 years you've been plugging away, your neighbours, your family, your friends see it on television. Oh, the World Pipe Band. Oh, John, are you playing at the World? No, I'm not playing. And they go, well, I wonder why. So that begins to get to the guy, you know, he wishes he could say, yes, oh, I'm playing tomorrow in the college band. Oh, are you? Oh, that's great, you know. Now, the average man in the street knows nothing of the grading system. I mean, they can't hardly tell the difference between what's good, bad, or indifferent. So it lifts another piece of heat off the guy who's struggling and trying to keep his eye on the ball. That's to improve as a piper.
Any questions about that?
What about the formation? What about the...
We don't worry about that either, Matthias. We'll get into the circle somehow, and we've got an ambulance at the side waiting to stretch her off anybody that actually collapses at the end of it, you know, so it's all sorted.
It's all sorted, yeah. Good.
I keep my fingers crossed that we'll all get through this tomorrow. I don't foresee that we will win prizes, but that's not the object of the exercise.
Well, there's no point in kidding ourselves on about this. It sounds pretty bad. They might well be last tomorrow at the World Championships. When they're out there under pressure in the competition, suddenly, what happens is 2 or 3 of them go to pieces and they start blowing too hard or too soft, and they can't tell if they're doing it, you see? So the pitch of the band goes, oh, you know, it goes from being here to down here. All it takes is one guy to put the thing off. You can imagine what it's like, you know? So that's what happens with inexperienced players. But the important thing is they're out there, they're on parade, and every time they're out on parade, they're learning, and it's bringing them on as pipers, because that's what we're here for. So we see the band as a tool.
Just think what it'll be like tomorrow in that line. Imagine it. Glorious. It'll be bucking the rain, and you'll be sitting going, what am I doing this for? Okay. By the right. Quick. March. I have
a problem. I don't find the holes. I play the E, and then...
They're there.
Yeah, I know, but my hand hasn't eyes. Therefore, what have I to do with this own thing?
Okay. You put the fingers in the wrong holes.
Yes.
This is a problem.
Yes, I want to go home. I don't want to play with it.
You're playing with the band?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Okay, now, tomorrow morning, you will burn a lot of nervous energy. Bananas is the trick. Bananas or Guinness, whichever your preference is. Personally, I'll be drinking Guinness, but seriously, the nervous energy, and I'll keep you all happy and smiling, but inside you'll be like a turmoil. And when you get to that line, you'll be going, I'm tired. And all it is nervous energy. And you need to ensure that you've eaten appropriately and drink as well. Do not do what I do. I just do something completely different. Tonight I'll be in the pub until, 2 o'clock in the morning, and tomorrow morning I'll not be in a very good mood. But everybody else, bed early, smiles, bananas, and lots to drink, okay?
We live in a very nice place nearby the Lake Lucerne, which is known as the most beautiful lake in Switzerland. A colleague, teacher, she used to play the bagpipe. And at that moment, at that second, I saw that instrument. I knew this is my instrument I would like to learn. And so I got into all this stuff, all the Scottish culture. And I feel like another person when I put on my clothes, on my kilt, my uniform and so on. My wife, she started to learn at the bagpipe band, the pipes and drums of Lutz and Cardonius, half a year later. Yes, and in 2006 we married.
I was fascinated by the Scottish culture even before we met. It's try to explain the way of life here.
This sounds ridiculous, but sometimes I have this feeling, you know, it's not the rebirth or the reincarnation, something like that, but I feel familiar with this country. I feel myself at home a little bit, yeah.
We're looking over Midlothian, Edinburgh City, Arthur's Seat in the background there. My father being involved in the mining industry. We came from the west coast of Scotland through to the east, where the mining industry at that time was still functioning. My father was the colliery manager for a mine just at the top of this hill here.
Well, I was in the coal board at that particular time. We moved down to Yorkshire. Now, what age would Barry be then?
About 10.
When he started going out doing round the shops, and he'd turn round and say to the proprietor of the shop, whoever was serving, "Do you know anybody that could teach me bagpipes?" I mean, down in Yorkshire.
I just said, there's nobody here is able to teach you piping. He said, I won't have to learn the pipes. And it must have been something from inside. We never knew what caused this. It just came. And that's one of the reasons we came back home.
The first thing that Barry did was he went
Joined the
Boys Brigade. And he came home with a set of bagpipes. I don't think he'd been out of the box for years. When he opened the box, oh, the smell of it.
He had weeks fixing these pipes, and he did get them. He got them to go.
My father invited me to come down the coal mine one day and told me, "Son, this is your future." And I realised at that point that I never wanted to go back down a mine again.
That's when he said, I'm going to join the police because they've got pipers. Well, they wouldn't take him because he had glasses. And I phoned up and I said I didn't think it was right at all. He was a rugby player, he played the pipes, he was full of life. I said, and you don't take him into the police because so eventually got in. I can't remember how that happened.
The Lanarkshire Constabulary had a band, and the pipe major happened to be the recruiting sergeant. Once they became amalgamated to form what is now Strathclyde Police, I then became a member of the Strathclyde Police Pipe Band, still working in the Lanarkshire area as a policeman. And it was the following year, 1976, that the band won its first World Pipe Band Championships. In 2006, when I decided it was time to move on, Robert Matheson, who's a friend, invited me to come down to Shotts. I have been with them now for the past few years and will continue to do so, and certainly the band is at the cutting edge of piping and the modern innovative music. I have to say I thoroughly enjoy playing it. The one thing about the police service as a chief inspector, I was never taught how to handle cows. Can I quickly ask everybody just to identify themselves so that at least you've got a name? You'll probably forget, but it's the best way to do it. I'm Barry. Okay. Up till tomorrow, I'm the pipe major. You might sack me after tomorrow, I don't know. So anyway,
Alan.
Alan. Kate.
Jan.
Jan.
John.
John.
Stephen.
Andy.
Matthias.
Susie.
Jordan. Martin.
Claudia,
Kuno.
Irene, Andrea, Corinne, Fiona.
Alan.
My name is Ronnie Coates. Been in Germany since 1971, and Susie Klinger, who's the kind of German representative there, she plays for Heidelberg, and she heard that I was going to be here anyway, and she asked me if I would play, along with them. I said, great, no problem. Because when you're pushing on a bit, you think, this may be the last opportunity you'll ever have of playing at Worlds,
The idea for Jörg and me was to go to Glasgow on holidays, to see the Worlds, to enjoy the Piping Live Festival.
Our tenor drummer, Ronnie, said, why don't you join the College of Piping Band? And we said, well, what are they doing? And they said, well, they play at the Worlds. And we said, that's crazy. Yeah.
So I said, yeah, no problem. Just send me the scores. So I think we've telephoned practically every day, or at least sent messages back and forward. So there's been nothing coming up. So we got here, there was nothing, and been all this week waiting, and there's nothing. And so, I mean, but I'm on my own as a tenor, so I can improvise. So I don't have to push myself into a narrow band of what I'm going to play there. So for me, there's no problem. The only problem is I haven't got a drum. Because I was told, no problem, drums are all organised, they'll bring them along to practice, they'll be there in the day, yeah? So I'm sitting here and I've got no drum.
We are at times a wee bit informal in our arrangements.
At least you know what you're playing.
Eh?
At least you know what you're playing.
You know mass band readings?
No. Well, it's because we're from Germany, you know, because mass band is never the same.
Never the same. You can actually get about 5 or 6 different ones, yeah?
Yeah, we know them. Yeah, we know the Canadian ones, the German ones, the American ones.
We don't know the British ones. Is Billy out there, Alan? No, listen, don't worry about it. No, absolutely.
Well, I'll be on board.
But Billy said he was coming, but as I said, you know,
We'll be about.
okay, right. Okay, right. You sure? Billy, I'll send somebody to get you. That's Billy. It's in the bar. Right, Stevie's going out to get you. Right, okay. There's Billy. Right.
All right.
You've got some drummers, Billy.
Good. Good. I've got 2 spare drums here.
They were there a minute ago. Susie, where did the drummer?
One is here.
All right. We've got right, Billy.
A second here.
There.
Drummer.
But tomorrow, it's 8:30 report at the College of Piping Stance. And we're on it, is it 10 o'clock, Bill? 9:54. So we're on a tight time schedule tomorrow, right? So, Alan, can you suss out exactly where the competition arena is for me? But we can't afford to make a mistake here, because if we do, we're standing at the wrong bit and we've had it, you know.
No pressure, right?
No pressure. If we're standing at the Grade 1 arena waiting to play. Right, we get the drummers in. Let the have a run through with the drummers.
Any tenor drums?
No. No, I never said tenors.
Have you got a strap? It's just the drum menu. Right, okay. I'll get a tenor drum. We'll go for a borrowing of a drum. Right, okay. Jeff's definitely coming out.
Billy, George, Thomas, please to meet Thomas. Manuel. Nice to meet you guys. That's it.
Okay, right, now what I'm going to say is, whatever tempo I dictate tomorrow, and within reason, I'll try and sustain that tempo. Now, having said that, if Billy decides to go for gold tomorrow and goes, well, you can't fight the drum corps. You can fight them after, but not during the performance. So if he decides to go for gold tomorrow, we've really got to go with him. Billy, what we'll do is we'll just go for it. Just go for it. And
Just follow me.
just follow. Okay.
Improvise.
Improvise, absolutely. Right. We're ready. Now this, I'm intending to make this the last go, and I'll leave you to have a wee run through with your drummers, Billy, on your own. Okay. By the right. Quick march. Susie Klinger, was that you? Because of what you did, Susie, you start the band off. Because that means you won't do it again.
Right. Quick march.
Not any faster than that, Billy.
No, sorry.
No, that's okay, but just, you know.
No, I'll keep it
Aye.
Once we've got the bass drum there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, it's not bad at all considering the amount of time we've had. We'll see you all tomorrow at 8:30. If it's like this, we just need to go on with it. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's just a case of getting on with it and making the best of it.
I think the feeling's not too bad for tomorrow, but I think it's an experiment. It's an adventure to do that tomorrow.
We had a great atmosphere.
And we have a great atmosphere, that's true, yeah. Bearing in mind, we haven't been practicing together. A couple of drummers didn't have their instruments here. That's getting all organised.
Yeah.
And they're just learning the tunes.
Yes, they're hammering it out now.
Anyway, it doesn't matter, as long as it sounds right. Okay, we'll do it that way, right? 2.
That was pretty funny. It's so close to the event and learning now the scores. That's pretty nice chaos.
See the way it's written in the music, it's the one step.
We think that a lead drummer should be a person who is a strong player, a highly skilled player, and the best player in the corps, who can lead all the other drummers through the scores. And, well, Billy certainly was not the best player in our drum corps.
It's going to be tough to play that one.
It was really hard to figure it out, which kind of scores he plays. And so we suggested something. He said, no, that's too difficult.
But unfortunately, my son and I, we are musicians and we had to leave early and go to another place to play. Ian Kennedy turned up late that night, the Friday night, so I left him with the Germans. And it was during that time that they must have had discussions.
For me personally, and probably too for Thomas, the Worlds is the biggest thing ever, you know, and everybody dreams, wants to play at the Worlds.
Probably we will never get the chance to compete with our German band at the Worlds because it's nearly impossible to get 25 people from Germany at the same time to Glasgow. I think for people in Scotland maybe it's not such a big thing to go there because Glasgow is not too far away. But for us it's your holiday. You go there and it's a big thing for you and a big event. And we thought it would be better organized.
I play with another band. Okay. I play the bass. Yeah. And I was brought in to play the bass with this band. Yeah. And I found myself on the side. Right. And I was 3 or 4 days ago, I got a phone call asking could I play the side. That tells you how well organised we are.
I found it a little bit disgraceful, you know, to march up to a judge who is a renowned musician and knows a lot about pipe music, and you go there and you have not rehearsed, you don't know your scores.
Yeah, improvised. Everything is improvised. And that was why we also had this discussion about the whole competition that maybe we won't play.
It's difficult to say. We don't like sloppiness, as any of the drummers here do. And I tried to say, well, we're just going to have some fun and so forth, but there's still their pride's at stake here.
We decided to organize things by ourselves, so if nobody is there who organizes anything, so maybe we can decide what to play the next day.
I don't think we've got much of a chance tomorrow to get past the qualifying, but, you know, being there is everything, and as far as I'm concerned anyway, and I'm looking forward to enjoying it, just enjoying it. And I'll have a few drams, either before or after, or even during.
Tomorrow, I will be nervous, of course, yeah.
When you start marching, line, it's, and it's good to march in the circle and we calm down.
Yeah, to see each other in the piping circle, and that's the moment you can relax.
You know what the worst thing is when it's raining and it's really gushing down. The chant is soaking wet, and your fingers are all over the place. You're knocking down.
And the drum's starting to switch off.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes.
It will be fun tomorrow.
Oh, I
And then we just figured out what to play, and it worked out okay for not having practiced at all before.
There we go, we've got a lead.
No. And we decided to ask Barry if he would be fine if one of us could be the leading drummer.
The overall musical impact is one of the features that we're looking for in grade 4B. It's something that's going to make you stand and listen and say that's good music, rather than just standing there and playing, straight and the rhythmic, expressive, side of it might not be there. You're also supposed to be looking for the basic piping rudiments in drumming, whether they're playing these properly.
I'd thrown up the staff and the metal head of it hit my head. With the bleeding, it actually looked worse than it was, Red Cross is great over here. They give me tea and a biscuit and all.
Waking up on Saturday morning and seeing the rain wasn't too encouraging, but everybody was there at the time that I'd asked them to be there, albeit it was quite early in the morning.
On the Saturday morning, I was very excited because I just wanted to be there and be part of the whole pipe band scenario. It makes the hairs in the back of your neck stand up, basically, when you hear a really, really good band.
And I could sense they were all excited, and there was a wee hiccup with one of the drummers from Germany.
Turn the camera off, please. Somebody asked us to join up and said, great, send over the scores. No scores, they asked 5, 6, 7 times. Then, yesterday, we've been waiting since 5 p.m. for the drummer to turn up. He turned up at about 2 hours later. There is no tenor drum for a tenor drummer who signed up 1.5 months before, who's been looking forward to this like nothing, And we thought, as it's about learning, we go here, we have a proper leading tip, and he shows us something. So we learn something. And we have somebody playing leading tip who does not know how to play a role.
I really didn't have the time to go into an in-depth conversation with him to understand his reasoning What was more important is that the issue was resolved very quickly, and it didn't affect any of the other musicians.
What would you wish we could do at this stage?
Well, we have to talk to Billy about it, and if it's not possible, it's absolutely cool. We are not the ones to spoil it, but you know, we have a minimum musical standard. You know?
Billy was there for 20 minutes or something, and then we went away. So we practiced for another hour or so just ourselves. And they were saying about one of the eight boys going leading tip.
You're not going to be here next year. Billy will. Billy's my constant. What we have here, to some extent, it's an embryonic band. It's just started. Your expectations, unfortunately, are a wee bit higher than what I can certainly deliver this year. But let me say this. Beautiful, absolutely. The first thing is your priority. And the ethos of this is participation. And if you can't participate, hey.
So when I arrived, I was a bit kind of annoyed because I was really soaking wet, because I had to walk for miles from the car park with my drum and harness and my cape and all the stuff. So then I got there and I seen there was a bit of a... you can almost tell there's a bad atmosphere, you know, and everybody's in their own little groups and stuff.
It was such a weird situation. Nobody was ready to make any compromises.
So we think about it for a few minutes and we tell us if we want to play or not. Okay?
Understand.
No, we understand, but please understand us as well.
It's what's before. When you finish off the same as I would ask you not to let them down.
Everything all right? Morning, guys.
Hey, Billy.
Morning.
What's up?
My counterpart in the drum corps, the leading drummer, he's at the lower end of the spectrum in terms of leading drummers. But he's an exceptionally enthusiastic individual, and we kept the arrangements, the music, at the simplest form that they could be at. A set of drum beatings which are commonly known as the mass band drum beatings, to allow all to be included.
Are you in the park yet? Yeah. Right, we're on, you know we're on at 5 to 10, Jeff.
Hey, we're supposed to be at the bottom level, that's what Barry said to me, don't worry about it, because I have issues myself. And he says, it's fine, he says, just keep it basic, that's why I want to keep it straight. No, fuck him, that's fine. That's just snobbery.
Oh, well, no, you don't understand the point.
I know. Well, they were only asked to help us. What if fucking coming?
No, they thought they were coming to do a legal tip that was going to teach them as well.
Like one night, you come on a Friday night, you're supposed to teach them something for free.
They're meant to be giving stuff for the last couple of months.
So I wasn't doing the music, you're throwing into this. I can't think of being very good, I'm fucking sick. You try to do something that we would enjoy, there's always friction going on in the background, you know.
It's always the same right now.
Ah, well.
If you get the bass drum and the tenor drum, because I need the two, obviously. Where are you now?
I think most of the pipers were not really informed about how things were going on that day. And they thought, well, now the German drummers, they come here from Germany and now they want to make a fuss about everything here. It was a strange feeling because you're sliding into a situation where you don't want to be, and in the end you are the bad guy in addition to that.
You got it all sorted out?
Yeah.
What happened? What's happening?
We're not playing. Fair enough. Sorry, that's not bad. I'll need to play. Because otherwise the band will not do it. You know, so.
I think the issues...
After what thing for me, it's absolutely great to come around. But that's still no, I know.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem to me. We'll go for a walk anyway.
Billy's an important element of what we do. He's my right-hand person, and indeed the band wouldn't function without Billy, as simple as that. All I did was I just went away for a walk with Billy and explained to him that it wasn't something that he should be concerned about. It was just one of these minor issues that happen in any group or organisation.
Barry took me for a walk and he says, you can tell them to piss off back to Germany. He says, I've asked you to be my leading drummer. As far as I'm concerned, you're the man. He says, if you don't want them, if they decide they want to come back now after spitting the dummy, it's entirely up to you. I'm leaving it in your hands. So he made me feel really better. He built my spirits back up and gave me that motivation that I had in me before it all started in the first place.
I'm a bit nervous, if I'm being honest.
My problem is wet hands, fingers. I never played in the rain.
What I need to do now is take them up there, prepare them, trying to keep them with their feet in the ground, and hopefully we'll come through this and they'll have a fun day and enjoy it.
You get your drum, it's supposed to be coming on the bus. The bass drummer is bringing it, but he slept in. So he's somewhere on the outskirts of Glasgow, and I'm drumless just now.
And are your boys taking part?
We'll have to wait and see about that.
When we were on the way up to the final tuning area, there was only myself and Ian. I had said to Ian, are you willing to carry on? He says, oh yes, I'm fine, you know. So that was fine. We all went up and we were getting ready and playing. And the word was, oh, they're not playing. The Germans don't want to play. So I says, well, that's fair enough then. Fair enough. I'm not really bothered. I just want to go on and do my job the best I can.
So that is the configuration. 4, 3, 4, 4, and 4. Now, each of the middle set rank pipers, when we're marching into this circle, will come left and right to the person in front of them. Take that position right now, so you know exactly where we're going. Okay? Right, turn in, circle-wise. That's how we are going to form up in this circle. Now, what I want to do now is 10 past. I want you to go and find a wee spot and keep your eye on me, start blowing your instrument, and I'll be bringing you over one at a time to tune the instrument as quick as possible. So find a wee spot under a tree and start blowing your pipe. Johnny.
See that number there? That's Jeff, the bass drummer. Find out where he is and tell him where to come to.
Right. This is where we're going to do competition. Roll, the key part, stop, roll, the key part, and we'll keep doing that. Okay, let's show you. Where are you?
You got a moisture control system?
What?
Do you have a moisture control system?
No.
You need to get one.
So anyway, when we were practicing, up came the Germans.
In the end, we said, okay, come on, let's put everything aside. We are angry now, we are really upset with the situation and with the way things were dealt with here. And then we decided to play. And then we looked for all the others and we found them on the warm-up area.
Now, Barry had already said to me, if they decide they want to play, you don't want them to play it in this case, just tell them, no, you've had your chance. But I'm not that type of person. I don't hold a grudge.
It was not for Barry, it was not for Billy. And we wanted to focus on the 25 pipers who came from all over Europe. And we thought, well, for them, it's also the dream to compete at the Worlds, like it was for Ronnie.
So we welcomed them in and says, right, guys, OK, that's us. Just do it the way we practiced it last night. And that was it.
It was really nice, you know, to see Ronnie's face when we came, because Ronnie was really happy that we got there. It would help the overall music, you know, to have more drummers in there, and it would help Ronnie to play decently. And
at least it looks like a proper drum corps.
Tenor drum turned up, and we've got a bass, and we've got all the drummers. So it should be at least a full complement.
Are you ready, Jeff? Aye. Did you bring the tenor drum?
Tenor's there.
Right, we're ready. Who's on the flank here? Right. Does everybody know what they're doing here? Hands up those that are confused. Jeff, you're confused, I know that. Now, did everybody have a banana? Okay, right, so we're all full of bananas. Let's have a go at this then. We'll try it. Imagine there's a circle here. And this is the outer part of the circle. Sylvia and Susie, this is where you'll be standing. Okay, let's go for this. Okay, you ready, Billy? Can you hear me? By the right. Quick, march.
It was no one's fault. It was a misinterpretation of the whole thing, miscommunication. I couldn't understand it at the time. I thought they were trying to degrade me, basically. I thought they were trying to do, you know, the stamp-on thing.
I don't want to talk bad about Billy or Barry, because it was just, we had different expectations.
Tenor job. Switch it off, it's double toning. Right, follow me. As the band approached the trigger, which is the starting line, the one thing that I'm aware of at that point is the nerves are probably as heightened as they can be. My job at that point is to try and get everybody calmed down. So I warned them beforehand that when we got to that trigger, if I turned round and anybody wasn't smiling, then they would be duly sent off at that point, which I wouldn't have done, but the idea of it was enough. Lights now.
What we set out to achieve has been achieved with considerable success because I was very pleased with the way the band performed.
Pipes and drums, reform ranks, by the right. Quick, march.
I was pleased with the way that they disciplined themselves and presented themselves on the actual arena. I have people from all walks of life that are in that band. I have company directors down to those that are unemployed. And irrespective of what position and rank they hold out with the band, they were all extremely nervous and had not experienced this before. So in that sense, it was a learning curve, and I felt they coped with it admirably. I was proud, and indeed it was nice to see the college principal there, who clearly was extremely happy.
The result doesn't matter. The results have no consequence. What matters is that you were out there and you carried the name of the College of Piping forth, and well done to you all for that. And if anybody would like a dram... Well, I'm going to play again. Hey. Robert's got the innocuous liquid. I had mine earlier on.
Well, I thought they did very, very well, and I remember 2 years ago when one of the pipers, John Gow, came to me for lessons in the Monday night class, and he couldn't play a note. I mean, he literally couldn't play a note. And there he is today at the World Championships. It really summed up the ethos of the College of Piping, what happened today, because, well, some people might say, oh, it didn't sound too good and it's a bad representation of the college. I take the opposite view, in actual fact. They'll all be better players for the experience of playing today.
And I looked at Jeannie's fingers and I thought, you're not the same as mine. So either Jeannie's wrong or I'm wrong. And I thought, no, I'm wrong.
It was a great feeling, you know. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. It's just brilliant to be involved in it. With all such great musicians and stuff.
All the preparation, so much time, and you go into the circle, play, finish. It's like finger steps, it's over, 1 second.
It's good to have them from different countries, you know. That's a wee bit of different taste of playing, you know. That's some different styles, you know. Some semi-quavers are faster than others, you know.
The drummers, they didn't have the scores, they didn't know what to play. They were really nervous. It was just because they were nervous. But it's okay now.
If it's possible, I would like to come to the Worlds every year.
Cheers, well done, the band.
You probably have a hand on 100 great drummers, you know. Just one of your junior drummers to lead us in and to show us something, how you guys do the shots. We would love it. It doesn't have to be Jim Kilpatrick, you know. If it's not about winning, you know, maybe it's about learning.
Fortunately, he made the decision that he was going to perform. And hopefully, particularly where if something like that happens again, that through what happened on Saturday morning, that the word will get back, and anyone that does come over with the intention to compete will understand this concept, that we are performing at the lower end of the spectrum, and that we will not raise that, because if we did, it would defeat the purpose of what we set out to do, and that's to include all who wish to participate. And I would hope that those that then decide that they wish to perform in competition at a higher level would go forward and join other bands. And that is a measure of our success if we do that.
I don't want to play with it.
You're playing with the band?
Claudia, she didn't compete with the band on the Saturday. I'm well aware that she was extremely nervous, but she's promised me she will work hard, and she's definitely want to perform with the band, and she'll be back next year.
But I do appreciate what you did. Thank you very much. How you doing? God.
How are you?
I'm fine. What brings you over here?
You. I came to see you play.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Come all the way from, where is it?
Boston, Mass, USA.
I thought you should have phoned me or text me or something, emailed me.
I did. You didn't answer me. I figured you were busy, so I said, well, I'll just find her.
Well, this is the first one. I'm playing again later on.
I know you are. I'm with Johnson Duncan. I've been following you.
I've been involved with pipe bands off and on for 6 years, and I've discovered that pipers and drummers, some bands don't even talk to each other. You know, some drummers groups don't go and socialise with the pipers. As far as I'm concerned, that's nonsense. We're all a part of a team, we're all part of play together, so we should socialise together as well. And that's what we do with this band. This is a great band. I've met so many nice people, different people at all levels, professional people, and no matter what trade they're in or whatever, they all have the one important thing, and that is to achieve playing their instruments to the better level and enjoying themselves into the bargain.
In a way, it was funny because if you take everything seriously,
I think when you lose the fun with music, it's you lose the whole idea of it. But when you lose the music, you know, it's maybe also not so good.
I think that it's exciting times ahead because I think there's much more can be done here. There has not been hitherto a concept pipe band such as the College of Piping Training and Development Band. As we say, it's in with the bricks now. I think it's necessary. It's been missing for a long time. It doesn't exist anywhere else. The College of Piping has now established this, and it'll continue.
These pipers and drummers, next time they go out, they'll be better. And so it'll go on, and they'll develop as musicians. They might never reach the heights, but they'll certainly be better for it. And one thing people can't take away from them is that they did actually play at the World Pipe Band Championships.
Well, ladies, probably the best audience I've ever had. I'll play a tune which is synonymous with the Midlothian area, so thank you very much for your attention.